we're here in front of this really lovely field of cryptobiotic soil. Sometimes it's also called biological soil crust or living soil crust. Sometimes people just shorten it to soil crust as well. This stuff is really important out here in southern Utah and a lot of other places in the world because it does grow other places. It's a combination of moss and lichen and bacteria, cyanobacteria in particular usually. And basically this stuff holds the soil together here. If we didn't have this living soil crust here, it would just be a bunch of sand dunes. Plants wouldn't be able to gather water at all because the water would just run off those sand dunes. So basically, it holds that soil together, creates these bumps here that we see, and that helps slow that water down so that it has a chance to soak into the soil. It also gives the soil more surface area for that water to soak into. In addition to all of that, it helps keep that sand from being like the sand dunes that we think of in like the Sahara Desert where you see the big blowing breeze. Instead, we have these really pretty clear skies because we have this soil crust here to hold it together and keep it from blowing away into the skies. And it's something really important to protect because one footstep on this will kill it. What we like to say is don't bust the crust. One footstep will kill it. And this stuff here is honestly probably several hundred years old. To get to its mature state, it takes about 40 years. About 10 years, you're starting to see bumps. And just a couple years, it just doesn't look like, it just looks like slightly hard soil. It doesn't look like anything in particular. So that's why it's really important in a lot of these places to stay on the trails and on roads and not to make new ones and expand your area. Because we want to help keep our, if nothing else, keep our dust down so that we're not giant dust devils out here. So here you can see a really good progression of the ages of the crust. So this stuff over here is our mature stuff. It's at least 40 years old, but quite frankly, this stuff here is probably several hundred years old, maybe never even stepped on by human feet, which is great. But as you kind of move over to this side here, this stuff's definitely probably about 40 years old. As it gets closer and these bumps get less, you're getting into like 10, 15-year-old range. And then right in here where you're getting these pebbles and such, this stuff's gonna be a couple years old. Partially because it gets stepped on slightly, but also partially because this is where you can see where the water goes through and cuts through, so the water does disrupt it. But you can see even here just the slight little young soil crust coming to life.